Greetings everyone, and Grade here for another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Well, on the north side is the Orange Star Andy. We got Majician2000, though has... Actually, I suppose Magician? The more I look at it, the more I'm confused. Like, did Magician always had a J in it? I think I'm going crazy. Spot on the south side is the Blue Moon Kindle. We got Danubio. We'll do that name well enough, so let's get started. This map is a 3-base map, or single airport. Both players have access to comm towers, though one has been a roadblock. Other one's more in the center, but if that gets captured, it's more likely the game's already lost either way. I always love seeing Kindle games. Kindle offers a lot of unique dynamics, where the properties become both a strong point and a weak point, and a good way to both have a wall and break a wall. Does spot the 1 health or 10% HP missile, which does effectively act as a slow recon. You have a tank now deployed by Andy. Kindle has 9,000 funds, so she can go for a tank this, goes for recon this turn. This recon pushes forward, reconnoitering the area. If the tank can advance towards... Oh yeah, wait. I just realized something. That tank build is not a good spot because you got the pipe seam here. It has a long path to go around here. The tank probably should have been built there, though it is away from here, so maybe the tank should have been built here. I guess Andy wanted the tank to go a long way around, but also not notice, but it's... can't move that far in comparison. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 tile faster at least. Oh, lander. I forgot that exists. I'm an idiot. It's been a while since the last casted or stream. For those who are probably watching the video later on, this is my first day back after, or casting, or streaming, since the week I took off since I got into a car accident. I'm fine. Had a little bit of pain, but nothing too significant. Pain only lasted for the day. It was a little bit storm pain the following, but by the Saturday, the third day, perfectly fine. Recon does take out the 1 health missile. And funny thing as well, keeping the missile alive as Andy is actually so important with the hyper upgrade and hyper repair. Unless he wants it to be sacked because he doesn't want to take advantage, what would be a field advantage for Andy. Which there could be good sportsmanship there, it's hard to say honestly. And look at that retaliation damage, plus 40% firepower, half health, so plus 20% firepower under that mech, doing quite a bit of damage. And of course, with 3 health remaining, the Anti-Air will be able to finish off that mech next turn. Like person see here, 80 rolled maybe a little bit low, or Kindle rolled a little bit low on hitting it, but the it's at 6 health. I suppose that Urban Bike helps soften it up. You have now another tank, another mech, and an infantry. Finish off the 3 health mech. Does get trapped. Kindle now has 2 tanks in the field. Trying to take out the anti-air, but also the tank's deployment's been definitely been much later than Andy's. You can see Andy's tanks have been doing quite a bit of work so far this game. Got tank, recon, and infantry. Gets a shot on the anti-air, does not finish it off. Howdy, I am back. Allegedly. Does get a good shot on the infantry in there. Doing fine. All my back pain went away basically Saturday afterwards. My biggest problem is I had trouble doing any sort of streaming casting on the days because I didn't have a vehicle, so I was carpooling with a co-worker who had different hours than me. Which luckily my work has allowed me to work different hours, but still. And plus, insurance companies kept on calling me during the time frame I'd start doing my casting, so... And lawyers. Lots of lawyers car. When you're getting a loss or in a car accident, it was clearly determined you're not at fault, you get bombarded by lawyers. the Friday after the accident at 8:20, when the police report was publicly released, I had about 20 lawyers calling me trying to represent me. I'll be back. Memes missed opportunity. Sorry, I don't track. Right now, Kindle does have Urban Blight available, but I don't think it'd be too good of an idea at the moment. Let's get shot on the pipe seam there. Right now, Urban Blight will strike a handful of infantry units there, and of course stuff freshly built, which would be interior on tank. And we'll need to be pushed off onto the properties. Yeah, right now I don't think it's a good turn for Urban Blight. Urban Blight has been summoned. I do not think that was very good. Does interrupt one capture. We do have, of course, a hyper repair available, which is just doesn't synergize very well versus fighting Kindle as, say, Olaf or Drake. Does get trapped there a little bit. But let's see, hyper repair will heal up a handful of infantry units, but that's about it, so not worth it. Anti-air does put a round into the pipe seam. Tank does take a shot there, does double tap the tank, leaving it down to less than 1 or 10% health. Helper recons reconnoitering, tanks advancing. Infantry, tank, and artillery. Comm tower still not been captured, 2 capture progress remaining. So, Kindle's still been on 1 comm tower, and his force been on 2, does take up the tank. Does get some shots there. Lander is low on fuel, and luckily it's not wounded right now, so it'll be safe enough to get to harbor. Anti-air, mech, and tank. Pipe scene's down 60%. This is still at full 99%. It always seems like pipe scene's health is always a little bit buggy. Good booster strike there. Ah. Honestly, I mostly associated that with Douglas MacArthur. Back in World War II, in the early stages, he was the commanding officer, the general for the Philippines. He was forced off, of course, in the start of the war. Japan captured United States Philippines, and he says, I shall return. And when he got back, he said, I have returned. Does get a good strike there on that tank. Double taps. We do have a hyper upgrade. Pops an Urban Blight. Let's see. Does strike, of course, tank, mech, anti-air. Actually, this tank, if she pulls the infantry unit off there, then the tank get a plus 80% booster strike onto that tank there. Easily one shot on the tank. In total, will be about 100 plus 100%. Actually, about 110% damage in total. Tank, artillery, infantry, and battle copper. I always think Kindle players pop Urban Blight too early. I always think they should eye to pop Urban Blight to go along with booster strikes such as this, because that is it is very significant part effect. Full hyper upgrade, so Andy gets, of course, plus 10% firepower, plus 1 movement, as well as 5 health restoration. Plus 1 movement, including infantry, so his infantry can do a bit more than walking to a location. They can jog. And of course, the power active. Kindle's not getting power charge in this turn. And plus 10% firepower is okay. For Andy's core aspect is, of course, the health repair, but that's always a little bit situational of actually able to using it. But the plus 1 movement range, including infantry, is always a nice little effect. Gets a nice boost strike there. And funny as well, also, I've never seen any Terminator movies. Yes, I have not watched any Terminator movies. There's a lot of movies that people say I should watch and I haven't. Like The Godfather. Oh, looks like Kindle's gonna be barraging the pipe seam. Or just did that there, and now the artilleries will load up the lander next turn. Medium tank infantry. And what was the other one? Just another infantry. Battlecopter gets a good strike there. Hits the anti-air. Is another anti-air battlecopter in range? Nope. Looks like the anti-air will continue to ruffle about. Got a little bit of repairs on that tank. Pipe seems down 37%. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Keeps 5,000 in the bank. Hits the tank twice, braving the battlecopter. New tank only moved that far, thanks to double forest. And double attacks the pipe seam. Which I could have sworn would be loaded up in the lander. I guess not. They could still be boosted a little bit. Interrupts the capture. Kindle right now is at 20,000 income versus 18, so he has a slight income advantage. And looks like we'll end the turn of 123. Andy starts turn 109, so she's about a half a turn advantage. Nothing too significant. So the game's still pretty even. And not to mention... Yeah, it's hard to say global damage versus selective global damage versus selective global repairs, because not everything will see global repairs. It's the anti-air there. Battlecopter's in range and it's next to properties, so ready for boost strike on that battlecopter. Easy one shot there. Capture 2 properties this turn. Has enough for Urban Blight, which will try triple tanks. Yep, looks like the lander is going to be boosting. And does pop Urban Blight, strike the triple tanks, which is pretty nice. Hit this infantry unit there, interrupt the capture even further. I'm assuming he's using gun stuff, not staff, because this is not Ruby. Too bad that show went downhill really quickly in quality. Recon, battlecopter, and infantry. Does hit the tank there and twice. Does not finish that tank off. The boost strike could be very nice there. Hits the pipe seam a little bit. Trying to flip a couple properties there. Still a handful of properties, still despicably neutral. These 2 cities up here, this one here, and of course this one here. So 4 properties on turn 17, still neutral, which is quite large, honestly. Particularly these ones up here. Those are the safe ones, right? Well, this one's not captured either. Does get fully stopped there. Interrupt the capture. Quite a bit boosting there. T-copter, tank, and recon. Couple properties have been captured, so it's 21 versus 20 now. Going for the HQ! Wow, that thing also sort of bugged out. It still says, yep, you can see on the screen, 20 capture progress remaining and for 3 health. Even the client knows that, oh, this is not going to happen. Does finish off that one. We'll capture the strictly neutral one. Catches up, starting to capture that one. That cap property will not be flipped. Infantry. Not a problem. Get some good rest. See ya. Battlecopter, tank, and double infantry. We also got 2 T-copters in the field now, realizing it. So a lot of transports. Does finally take out the pipe seam. Lander has 8 fuel remaining. That's not a lot. Wait. That lander can't make it back to harbor. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And ships consume 2 fuel per day, right? Or is it 1? That, even at 1, that lander can't make it back at home, can it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that lander can't reach back to harbor. Does good shots there. Do have another hyper upgrade available. Some light. Oh no, there's actually a decent number of wounded tanks. 6 and 5 health. Of course, the 8 and 9s can be healed on up quite nicely as well. So there's room. There's argument for a hyper upgrade next turn. It's probably the best case scenario, honestly, for it. Hyper repair is actually feasible as well because 8 and 7 health tank is still perfectly serviceable. But yeah, we probably will see the hyper upgrade. Kindle does end the turn of 181, Andy starts with 140, and let's see what it goes to. Goes up to 150 with a full super. Now everything gets +1 move range and 10% firepower, and everything's topped off in health. Does enter the range of a pair of artillery pieces. Does the battlecopter. The artillery will get some good shots on in. Kindle still has a value advantage, ever so slightly, which means she has a full turn value advantage. Battlecopter, anti-air, recon, and infantry. She could pop an Urban Blight. In this case, Urban Blight would be very effective. It will soften this anti-air and also allows a boost strike on this anti-air. Potentially a boost strike onto one of these units nearby. No boost strike from the medium tank onto that one, but it's basically dead either way. Does get a good shot on the battlecopter. Does not get a boost strike there on that anti-air. Will finish off with a boost strike. Artillery strikes that tank. And looks like we're not gonna boost strike there as well, so no boosted strike. Excuse me, no boosted strikes this turn. Sometimes it's how it sort of just crumbles. Does get a mech next to a tank, so that's going to be a very good engagement there for Andy. Ends the turn of 168 versus 124. Infantry, tank, and anti-air. Does not find this tank down here. This has 12 capture procs remaining, so this tank cannot interrupt the capture. Though still will take 2 turns either way. We do have a medium tank up here by Andy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like it's in range of this medium tank. But if it takes a shot from either spots are there, takes a shot from either of these spots, it will receive a boost strike from this tank. Oh, gets trapped there. Neo tank and double infantry. Still 20,000 for 21,000. This product is still despicably neutral. Medium tank will take a shot there. It's the recon. So looks like it's going to be a boost strike on the tank onto the medium tank, or could use a medium tank. It's probably will sack itself and then get a follow-up boost strike. In other words, make sure you kill off the medium tank as soon as you can before it gets repaired on up. Even a hyper repair would be very nice on it, let alone a hyper upgrade. Let's hit one of the artillery. Now, good number of battlecopters up here. An Urban Blight could be useful to help push off to here. Looking at Urban Blight the tank, and then Poly Strike the artillery. They'll probably knock it out. You get Boost Strike on the anti-air from a 4 health tank, and then have the Battlecruiser strike the regular tanks. That's my loose plan I would recommend. Pops an Urban Blight. It also would allow a massive Boost Strike there on that medium tank. I am curious about that. Let's take a quick look. Looks like 30 to 40%, so there's a good chance it goes down to 5 health. Does go down 4 health. After all, you can't really tell exactly how much health it has, percentage health. Does take out that tank there with the artillery, softs up the tank, does take the anti-air. Now the Battlecopter's mech is a good strike there. This Battlecopter strike, this Battlecopter maybe range this anti-air, but it's definitely worth it. Does strike the other tank up there. Finish off the wounded tank. The third Battlecopter head up north. Do have a full hyper upgrade, which would be great for this tank here, actually. And some other units nearby. 68 versus 98. So he's pretty far behind. Goes with 115. Battlecopter strike, Battlecopter. And flip some properties. Hits the regular tank there. Battlecopter's a bit far away to get a strike on that Battlecopter. Hits the mech. Try and flip another property. Artillery, anti-air, and infantry. Kindle does flip the property, making 23 versus 21 properties. Anti-air hits the unit it's trying to capture. Black Boat could get a repair onto that tank before it pushes forward. It has to capture the comm tower, but did have to use a Neo tank turn for that. Interrupts that capture. Boost striking the recon, takes it out. Finish off that infantry unit there. Mech, I think probably should have sacked 3 off mech and get a boost strike on that tank. Best case scenario. Does get a boost strike there. Tank, tank, tank. And the lander does sink to the bottom of the beach. Here's that 1 health infantry. One by the Battlecopter. Just let it ruffle about to get repaired on up by the power superpower. Double taps that tank there. This Battlecopter maybe in range. This Battlecopter just needs a bit of an opening. Resupplies the infantry unit there. Artillery low on ammo, 3 shots. T-Copter down to 4 fuel. Looks like the APC is going to refuel it in the next start of the next turn. But did park it there so the infantry unit can at least get inside. Battlecopter gets a good strike on that tank. Does spot the medium tank. Hits it. It hits again. Does knock it out. Andy's bomber heading down south. Medium tank, recon, and infantry. New tank heading over here. Does have an anti-air. Gotta be careful. This anti-air is the only thing that can stop that bomber. Of course, that's with our cast vision. Infantry, tank, and Battlecopter. Anti-air does strike the Battlecopter there. We do have now another Urban Blight available. Wounded Battlecopter heading down south. Getting a little bit low in fuel. Does get trapped there. Recon does position the wounded Battlecopter, but could be used as bait. Takes out tank and mech up north. Hits the infantry unit twice. Hits the Battlecopter once. Artillery gets good strike on the tank. Tank hits tank. Tank hits anti-air. Anti-air takes on anti-air. Recon does not take a shot against the recon. Anti-air, infantry, tank, and battlecopter. This tank can now be struck by an urban blight. And so does anti-air. So this turn, an urban blight could be very nice. Takes out that recon. Battlecopter, infantry, recon, and anti-air. Ends turn for 200,000. Andy starts turn 141. Urban Blight will be very useful. Now, we do have a fighter on the field, which is good against the battlecopters. Went for a fighter for air supremacy, but not really needed. Pops an Urban Blight, strikes a tank, strikes the medium tank. Hits this regular tank here. Hits a battlecopter, recon, anti-air, commits a base skip. Artillery struck the medium tank and does knock off the battlecopter. Excuse me. Booster strike on that infantry unit there. Hyper upgrades now available. Does take out the tank there. Problem is nothing for repairs with the hyper upgrade. Maybe a good idea to launch some attacks and then use a hyper repair. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and infantry. It's the tank. It's the recon, and does take out the tank there. Artillery strikes the regular tank. Pops full superpower, so this is purely meant for 10% firepower and 1 mobility. Oh, and cast resign button there. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to next replay.